Hello and welcome to the Round 5 review featuring new utensil for the microphone stand. You know what, we might just... Wow, what a difference that has made. What a weekend of football. I personally, myself, am not a great advocate for Gather Round, especially when we're also doing opening round. It's got to be one or the other. I'd prefer Gather Round over opening round any day of the week. However, I'd love to do a Gather Round anywhere but South Australia. You've got Adelaide Oval, which is a rectangle. Norwood doesn't have a proper bench. We're using plastic chairs at Norwood. The oval in the Barossa just kind of looks out of place, and you send the teams that you think no one's going to watch there. Sorry, Brisbane. I'd love to see a Gather Round in Perth. You know, we've got Subiaco, we've got Optus, obviously, and, you know, we've got Freo. And all of those ovals, as far as I'm aware, are not rectangular. I digress. We'll move into the actual games of the week. I've complained enough about Adelaide. I did make a TikTok after Melbourne lost, where I said that Melbourne played like shit and that I don't like Gather Round, and I felt like Jack Higgins. Anyway, moving on. We've got Thursday night, which was Adelaide and Carlton. Outcome was what we would have all expected. However, Carlton just didn't show up for the whole game this time, rather than playing the first half and then dropping off. I will preface this. I will say this. The umpiring in this game, I understand that it was raining. The umpiring was atrocious. I think it was Rochelle, Peru, the ball. Sorry, I get about 8 million TikTok comments saying that I say fro with an F. Literally my bad for being the daughter of a woman who's bilingual. I'm also just upset that we can't think of anything else to say about me rather than the fact that I can't pronounce my THs because I'm a daughter of a first generation Australian. Anyway, did that non-call against Rochelle result in, you know, like... Would Carlton have won the game if that was paid? Probably not. It really set the tone for the rest of the weekend because everything following that was atrocious. This Adelaide-Carlton game was a nothing game. I feel like we all knew Carlton were going to lose. I have noticed that since Melbourne beat Adelaide at Gather Round, they pin Adelaide against the team that they feel like is going to be like shit to... be like, oh, Adelaide, come to Adelaide. Anyway, and then we go to Collingwood Fremantle. This game rained. It basically rained all weekend down in Adelaide. This was a very contest-heavy match, but that's not the reason it was low scoring. The reason it was low scoring, besides the fact that it was raining and contest-heavy, we're making skill errors. We're missing handballs and we're missing tackles and long down the line into packs. It just looked like a sloppy game of football. Collingwood probably could have won this game if they didn't have 2 set shots at goal and miss and hit the post. Worst one's probably Lockie Schultz. 25 out directly in front, no angle. Literally dead center. Goes for a banana, I think. Off the top of my head. Could have been a set shot. Regardless, hits the post. I don't know. I've never been to Adelaide Oval. And I don't plan to. But from what I can see on the telly, the ground is rectangular, basically. But I don't know if because the ground isn't oval, that the sticks are, like, closer together. I don't know. But the amount of posters over the weekend, something's not right. Something's not right. The Dockers get it done by 6 points because Collingwood couldn't kick a goal in the last. I don't know if Collingwood are pretenders or Fremantle are contenders because neither of them have really versed a good side and both of them are just kind of in this weird plateau at the moment. Like, Freo have West Coast this week and Collingwood have Carlton. Like, we won't know where they really stand probably until about round 8. We then move on to North and Brisbane down at the Barossa, where literally no one was. A few mistakes by the Roos cost them this game. But to be fair, to only lose by the reigning premiers by 26 points as a young side I'd take it as a win, Clarko. Like, you're not going to win every game, especially not against Brisbane, who are now coming back into form. They've hit their head on something and they've remembered that they have won the last 2 premierships and they're like, oh, we can actually play football. Only losing by 26 to Brisbane, I'd take it. No real highlights from a Brisbane perspective. They just got the job done again. They played their game. But honestly, this... And I know, like, Davies Uniacke and Harry Sheezel, they've been stars for a while, but I feel like at North, they've just kind of been put under the rug a little bit compared to Ashcrofts and Langfords and Dacos's. Sheezel and Davies Uniacke, I feel like after Good Friday, they just kind of set the tone for the rest of the year. Like, both of them all, like, 30 and just under 30 disposals each. Did Harry Sheezel win a Rising Star? I can't remember, but... You know, I feel like we don't talk about them as much because they're not playing for a top club. But they played some sensational football, and they have been. And I just feel like it really highlighted on the Good Friday match and that just keeping that momentum going. And then we move on to fucking Melbourne. I knew that we were going to lose this game. There's a few factors that I know why we lost this game. Number 1. The flame head. That design, fucking cursed. We can't keep wearing the flame head. There is some actual demonic possession going on in that design because every time we wear it, we lose, and we lose horrifically. I love it. It's like, it's the design from my childhood. Born in 2002. Don't. That design was like early 2000s, early 2010s. Literally, like, my childhood, because I remember when we changed from the flame head to the fucking crest, the demonic crest that, again, has some fucking lore behind it. We can't wear it. So that's number 1. Number 2, we have versed Essendon 3 out of 4 times at Gather Round, and we have lost to Essendon 3 out of the 4 times. We verse Essendon more in South Australia than we do in Victoria. Do you know how bizarre that is? Every year, fucking Greg Swan and whoever does this stupid fucking fixture go, Gather Round at Adelaide. Who should we put Essendon against? Melbourne. No, stop that. Stop putting us against the fucking Dons. I watched it last year. I saw last year how bad we played. So when I saw the fixture, I went, yeah, I'm just going to prepare myself for a loss. We're wearing the flame head, we're versing Essendon, and it's in South Australia. We are cooked. And lo and behold, what really shit me, I gave up on the game. Like, I was just watching it. I couldn't even raise my voice. But every 30 seconds, they put up on the screen, Essendon haven't won a game in 17 matches. I'm aware. We don't need it every 30 seconds. Put the fucking statistic away. Put it away. No one needs to keep fucking reminding me. And then, Gary Lyon. Mate, you'd reckon he'd hate the fucking club the way he talks about it. Jesus Christ, man. Put the microphone down. Fuck off. I said on my TikTok, that I would have more pleasure stuffing a screwdriver in my eardrum than having to listen to Gary Lyon commentate a Melbourne game. It's like nails on a chalkboard. My God. I can't explain to you the things that man was saying. We just got to get him off the air. It doesn't even need to be a Melbourne game. We just got to get him off the air. Another non-call. Dersma threw the ball. And it resulted in a goal, and everyone's going, oh, well, Langdon should have smothered it. How did he not touch it? I don't know, man. Maybe because the Sharon's a funny-looking ball and it bounced. Also, the fact that every angle showed the throw, and we go up to the arc for shit on the boundary, right? But we're not going up to the arc to go, hey, maybe we should call that back. What are we doing with the arc? And that applies to the Carlton one as well. If we're using the arc to make the game more fair because umpires aren't sure of their decisions, shouldn't we be doing that the whole time? Not just picking and choosing? Sydney Gold Coast. Gold Coast second loss of the year, and it is consecutive. Fuck me, Brodie Grundy had a game. Holy shit. He's roving his own taps in the centre. Fuck his midfield. I'm tapping it to myself. Dimmer, we got to get Matt Rowell off the ground. I don't care what glove we put on him. I understand that he almost got 30 at disposals, I'm pretty sure. He had 32 disposals. They're not good though. The hand is fucked. We gotta get him off. I don't care. Let him rest. Let that man rest and then come out in the training jumper or training jacket. Go sit in the box. Let him eat his grass. Just get him off the ground. Yeah, the Suns just lost off kicking efficiency and Sydney just kept the pressure up the whole time, just going for goal. They didn't even need to get it through the middle sticks. They kicked 14-16. They were just having a fucking field day, be honest. And it was at Norwood. And this is the match report from the AFL app. Narrow Norwood wings suit the Swans. Should we be playing at a ground that is fucking rectangular? And then we're moving on. I will preface, I didn't really watch any football after the Melbourne-Essendon game. I think I blacked out. Didn't feel like watching any football. But if you had asked me before the Melbourne-Essendon game who I thought would have won out of Hawthorn and the Western Bulldogs, I would have told you the Dogs. Probably should have reevaluated because it's in Adelaide. Much like Sydney, Hawthorn just kept the pressure on and were just kicking it toward the sticks. Didn't matter where it went. The Dogs just squandered their chances, 8-16. Not a great look for the Doggies. But at the end of the day, Hawthorn just wanted it more, so Hawthorn won it. My only concern with the Dogs is we keep putting Ed Richards in. He's not ready. He pinged his hamstring like a week or two ago before the game. We can't keep putting him in and then taking him out. I understand. He is one of the most exciting players to watch, Ed Richards, probably below Cozzy Pickett and maybe Latrell Pickett. Who else is exciting? And then there's Ed Richards. But we can't keep forcing him into games if he's not ready. He's obviously going to have to come out if he's sore because he hasn't recovered properly. I feel like that's common sense, but then again, I didn't really watch the game, so I could be wrong on why he's out. But I have a feeling that I'm not wrong. Heard again, I'm right, so sorry. And then we move on to Sunday. Day of 2 smashes and 1 story headline. We'll start off with the Cats and the Eagles. Eagles were in it for a quarter and a half, and then Geelong just put the foot down. And we're going to expect this to happen with West Coast against, teams that have been consistently good for like 10, 12 years. You're going to get smashed. You're still a very young side. You've only got 4 to 5 older blokes just kind of leading the reins in that transition period. But to only lose by 46, much like North, I would take that. Obviously, a loss isn't an ideal, but when you're on a rebuild, losing to Geelong by 46 isn't horrible. But Bailey Smith had a fucking field day. He was just everywhere all the time. Not a great look for the defensive efforts of West Coast. And again, another Dersma. He's just growing into a great player to watch, Willem Dersma. Then we've got GWS Richmond, much like losing to Geelong. We're going to expect a few of these heavy losses for Richmond. Would I have expected it against GWS? No, but then I saw their ins list. They brought everyone and their mum back from the fucking grave, GWS. It had like 7 ins. When you see an ins list like that, you know you're going to be a little bit cooked. But Toby Green kicks 1 too. Tim Taranto did all right, actually. I feel like that's probably one of his better games at Richmond. The same sort of performers at the Giants, Callahan, Madden, Whitfield, Green, Ash, the ones that you would expect, the ones you put in your AFL fantasy side every year, they're going strong. Clayton Oliver had an alright one, 31, 10 and 21. He looks happier. Then we move on to the last match of the round, which was Port Adelaide and St Kilda. Fucking hell, what? This match, Jesus Christ. Another low-scoring affair. The way that I can encapsulate this game is probably Tom de Koning took an excellent mark down the line, and then he handballs it to Naz, who fucks it, who handballs it back to Tom, who fucks it, and gets pinged for holding the ball. That is probably an encapsulation of the game that I could give you on how it went, because it was a hard watch. Probably not as much as a hard watch as the Freo Collingwood one, but still a hard watch. And then, look, the umpiring of this game seemed a little suspect. And then more so, it comes out that Zach Butters gets put on report for umpire dissent. And we have the audio of the before and the after, but not the during. So we've got the audio of Foot being the umpire, saying, free kick St Kilda, holding the jumper. And then Zach Butters runs over to Foot, and then it becomes ineligible. But it sounds sort of along the lines of, are you going to pay that? Do you pay anything? And what are they paying you? Those are the three I've seen. And then Foot says 50 metre, you're on report. And Foot comes out to the media and says that he being Zach Butters, questioned his umpiring integrity. I would too, mate, if you've got a fucking partnership with Sportsbet. How are we doing that? Players can't bet on themselves. Players can't have Sportsbet affiliations. But he can? Just make it make sense to me, because it doesn't make sense to me. And here's the thing as well. Do I want to believe Zach Butters, who has accumulated the most amount of fines in the history of the game, or the guy affiliated with gambling? Like, what do you pick? I've said my piece about Gavaround. I've said my piece about Melbourne. We just move forward and move on. This Thursday, by the time this video comes out, we start the week with Carlton and Collingwood, and it's on my birthday. So I will get a present regardless of who loses that game. Look, we'll see how I cope with a Melbourne loss to Brisbane. Do I think we'll beat Brisbane? There's probably a 50-50 chance because it's at the MCG. Ooh, I don't know anymore. I couldn't tip this club even if I had the ability to see the future. Thank you for joining me. Let me know your thoughts on Gather Round, because if you are a pro Gather Round person, I'd love to know reasons why it's good besides tourism South Australia, because seeing the ad of Max Gawn on the horse at halftime fucking shit me up the wall. Yeah, let me know how your Gather Round went. And I'll see you all next week. Birthday! Sorry. Anyway. Bye.